Ramadan Kareem to those observing today, and to everyone watching. I hope this moment brings you a little calm, a little kindness, and a pause in the noise of your day. Even if you don't observe Ramadan, you've probably noticed how this month changes the atmosphere of cities. Evenings feel softer, streets slow down, homes open more easily. There's a quiet shift in how people move through time. It's easy to treat this as just a festival mood, but it's actually a small expression of something much larger, a cultural rhythm that has been shaping the world for centuries. Sometimes it's worth imagining what the world might feel like if one entire cultural river had never flowed into history. Not because something would be taken away from you personally, but because the texture of everyday life would subtly change. Cities would still exist, art would still exist, languages would still grow, but some patterns would be missing. Some spaces would feel less calming. Some forms of beauty would never have taken shape in the way we know them today. Islam did not come from Christianity, although they share roots in the same ancient Abrahamic tradition. When Islam emerged in the 7th century in Arabia, it arrived with its own revelation, its own language of scripture, and its own way of shaping community, law, and culture. From that moment, what began as faith slowly grew into a civilization that carried ideas, aesthetics, and ways of living far beyond the deserts where it first appeared. Knowledge from ancient Greece, India, and Persia did not simply survive by accident. It traveled through Islamic centers of learning where it was studied, preserved, and expanded. Much of what we now recognize as modern education and medicine passed through this bridge. Algebra, hospitals, optics, universities. These systems were shaped and refined long before they became global standards. People benefit from them today without realizing how deeply their foundations are connected to that history. The beauty people associate with arches, courtyards, patterned floors, and calm, symmetrical spaces didn't appear randomly. Islamic art explored geometry and repetition as a way of expressing balance and order. These ideas traveled across regions and continents, shaping spaces people still find calming today, even when they don't know where that design language began. The poetry people love carries this influence too. Lines from poets like Rumi and Hafez about love, longing, and the search for meaning travel through modern culture every day. Poetry in these traditions wasn't just art. It was a way of speaking about emotion and devotion at the same time. When people share those words now, they're touching a tradition that carried feeling and faith together, even if they never knew its roots. The call to prayer shaped how entire cities experienced time. The sound of a human voice rising into open air created a shared rhythm for public life. Even people who don't follow Islam often feel the emotional weight of that sound. Without that rhythm, cities would feel subtly different. The way silence and sound interact in public space would not be the same. Language carries this history too. Words like algebra, zenith, admiral, and magazine entered English through Arabic. People use them daily without knowing the long journey they took through centuries of scholarship and trade. You don't have to be Muslim to carry this history in your vocabulary. It's already woven into how you speak. And then there is everyday life. Eid celebrations that fill streets with warmth. Markets during Ramadan that come alive at night. Children learning in mosques, not just prayers, but language and community. Foods like biryani, kebabs, dates at sunset, and sweets shared during festivals, now part of global culture in ways that no longer feel religious at all. These are not just rituals. They are human warmth that quietly shaped how people share space, food, and time together. A world without Islam would still be a world. Other traditions would still shape history, but it would feel quieter in small ways. Some of the words people use would not exist. Some of the spaces people find calming would feel different. Some of the poetry that helps people name their emotions would never have been written. Islam didn't replace other civilizations. It became one of the great rivers that carried human culture forward. Once you notice that, it becomes harder to see everyday life as something separate from history. You start to see how much of what feels ordinary is actually the result of long journeys of ideas carried across time by people who lived centuries before us.